Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Hiba Gallup coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia at Cook Baxter Immigration. We are immigration lawyers, and this is our Facebook Live. Thank you for tuning in. We have our attorneys, Phil Cook and Daniela Fink, who are here to talk to you guys about the coronavirus and the implications it has on immigration. I will have you guys post questions as usual, and we'll respond to them as we get to them, but feel free to tune in. And if you see something or have a question later on, feel free to post, and we'll, as always, respond at that time. So go ahead, post your questions. We've got here Mr. Phil Cook and Daniela Fink, who can introduce themselves if they want as well. Say a little bit more about what they want to talk about.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniela Fink, an associate attorney at Cook Baxter Immigration. I'm excited to be here with you all this afternoon.
I'm Phil Cook, also an associate attorney at Cook Baxter Immigration. So we're going to be talking to you about coronavirus and the implications with immigration today. So on Wednesday, President Trump had his address where he announced that there was going to be a 30-day travel ban on European countries, excluding the United Kingdom and Ireland. So the travel ban pertains to all of the countries in the Schengen area, or Shenzhen area. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce that, but it pertains to all those countries in the continental European Union where there's free movement, right? So that's going to include everyone in the European Union other than Ireland. The UK, as we all know, has exited the European Union through Brexit. So what does that mean for everyone? That the travel ban does not pertain to U.S. citizens or U.S. lawful permanent residents or spouses of lawful permanent residents or children under the age of 21, okay? So it only is going to be applying to foreign nationals from those countries, as well as from the countries that, obviously, that President Trump has already put on the travel ban prior to the European one that he had just announced. So that goes into effect tonight at 11:59 p.m. So if you get on a flight at 11:58 p.m., and arrive in the United States later on, you will be admitted to the United States. At least that's according to what we've read so far. So, apart from that, I don't think that there's really anything.
Who does it impact? You mentioned there's certain family members that potentially could make a case where they can come in even if they're not U.S. citizens or permanent residents.
It's going to impact, so it'll impact non-immigrants, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people that do, B visas, if you're going to be leaving the country for any reason, you're going to want to consult with an immigration attorney, because if you leave the country and there are other travel bans. If you look at India, for instance, they've done a travel ban on the entire world. So if you're stuck in India and you can't get back to the United States and you're on a B visa, you're not going to be able to extend status here in the United States. You're not going to be able to renew any kind of visa, and you're going to be starting back at square one. So, there's a lot of things that you need to think about for businesses. We recommend that you stay in the country and reschedule. If you're going on having business travel, going on, we recommend you stay in the country and reschedule as needed. Just for those reasons, if you're on a non-immigrant visa, because it's going to be pretty hard to come back in. Now, one thing we should mention is that there does not appear to be any way right now, or any way that the administration has announced for CBP to verify that UK citizens were not in, or UK citizens were not in those other countries prior to coming to the United States, other than just asking them if they were in those countries, because after Brexit, there's actually an agreement saying that they can keep traveling to all the other countries in the European Union for 90 days or less without a visa, right? And that's until January 2021 that they can do that. So, we're going to be having people come in from the United Kingdom that we don't really know if they've been going anywhere else. So it'll be interesting to see how the Trump administration kind of handles that, or if they'll handle it at all. They're also going to be doing some screening processes, from our understanding, for those countries, and for anybody coming from those countries. If you're a United States citizen or a U.S. lawful permanent resident, meaning they'll probably make sure you don't have symptoms, and they'll recommend that you self-quarantine, I'm sure, at home. though in the United States it does not appear that we have any kind of testing that will tell you right away or within a decent time frame whether or not you have the coronavirus.
Right. And actually, just to add to that, I just had a call from a client who's asking if this will impact their visa processing. So I don't believe it will, but just to confirm, when a client has an interview, for, let's say at a consulate and they're in Europe, that shouldn't impact the consulate operating abroad as far as immigration is concerned. Of course, if their local area is closing it down because of the virus, it's a different story.
So it could impact it if those consulates are also closing because the country they're in, everything is closed down.
Yes.
And it could also impact it if you're applying for a visa in the United States. If you have a USCIS interview and then you travel and then you get stuck out in the United States,
that's
the same
important.
thing we talked about before. There's no guarantee that you're gonna be able to reschedule that with USCIS. Now USCIS is rescheduling interviews right now for those of us already in the United States. If you're saying that, or if you believe that you have symptoms,
correct,
then you can contact USCIS to reschedule your interview without penalty.
So if you're planning to travel and you have a pending adjustment of status and you've got already an approved advanced parole that you are planning to just hop to Europe and come back, just be aware that might impact your ability to come right back. And the same thing whether you were granted a visa, let's say an immigrant visa, even just the ability to travel in the process may be hindered. But talk a little bit more about that. Interviews you said are getting rescheduled. What about court?
Yeah, so right now, as of today, everything is still open. The immigration courts, both in Atlanta, the one at 401 West Peachtree and the one at 180 Ted Turner, they're open, and there is no sign of them closing or postponing any cases. We as attorneys are doing what we can to potentially continue some of these court cases that some of you all might have coming up, but don't assume anything. Don't assume that your case will get continued or that the judge will be understanding. You have to call us if we represent you, or call an attorney if you have a court case coming up and you're worried about contracting the virus, or if you have any symptoms, contact somebody. But if you don't have any firm resolution, our best advice is to, it's your decision, but don't assume that the case will get continued. So you do run the risk of getting an order of deportation in your absence, and so you just need to understand that you
understand the risk.
Yeah, just understand the risk, but as of right now, everything is still open, including USCIS. So if you have an interview coming up, that is not necessarily changing on its own. They won't postpone it on their own, as far as we can tell right now. So if you are feeling sick, like I said, you can contact your attorney and have them contact USCIS directly, or go on your behalf to talk to an officer. But also don't assume that they will get any message on time. It's best to appear in person or have a representative appear on your behalf, because right now everything is a little messy, and you just want to cover all grounds and make sure that they understand that you are not abandoning your case, but that you want to be as careful as possible. And ICE is still open.
So reporting.
Reporting.
Orders of supervision.
Yeah, all of that is still happening.
What about biometrics? We got a question about biometrics.
Those are also still going right now.
Yes, everything is still open. So until we get further notice, we will obviously keep everyone updated, but as of now, don't assume that you can just stay home. Obviously, talk to an attorney, or if you have an opportunity to talk to a doctor, you can as well, but assume that you would have to go and appear for all of your previously scheduled court appearances, report dates, interviews.
So if you miss something because you're sick, what is the best thing to do then? If you don't have a lawyer and you didn't go to court because you weren't feeling well and you were afraid, you were maybe contagious, what should you do then?
It's probably going to depend on what happened because you didn't go to court, right? So if an order was entered against you, which is probably the most likely possibility if you did not attend your court hearing, you're going to have to probably try to file a motion to reopen with the court. So I recommend that you find an immigration attorney who can represent you in filing that motion to reopen to argue that the reason for it was reasonable, and under the circumstances for public health reasons that you were not able to attend the hearing.
Right, and you should do that as soon as possible, and also preferably document your illness as best as you can, should that need come up, and that applies also for
Or
USCIS.
people around you too. If you're having
Right.
contact with other
However.
people and you were afraid that you might bring that, that's something that you can do.
Right, right. We all want to be very cautious and, of course, not, spreading this as best we can, but also compliant with our, our immigration processes until they officially, reschedule and close out court if needed. We will need to walk a fine line with our clients.
Yeah, we're learning as we go, and us at Cook Baxter Immigration, we are trying to adapt to what's happening. And so, if you are interested in scheduling an initial consultation, or if you have an upcoming meeting with one of us, we are trying to make ourselves as available as possible by phone, Skype, WhatsApp, FaceTime, whatever the case may be, whatever is easiest for you all. And so please keep that in mind, and we are trying to be flexible and accommodating to what's happening.
And we're definitely using our sanitizer.
Yes.
Y para ustedes que prefieren escuchar este mensaje en español, nuestro abogado Jorge Gavilanes también hizo una entrevista hablando sobre este virus y las consecuencias en la Corte de Inmigración y con USCIS y con personas que están reportando, pero este mensaje, la entrevista es con Univision, y ahorita yo voy a poner el link en este video para que ustedes puedan hacer clic ahí para escuchar el mensaje, las noticias que Jorge hizo esta mañana con Univision.
Do you mind summarizing it a little bit, just in Spanish, just in case somebody doesn't catch that link?
Pero básicamente, si ustedes tienen una audiencia en la Corte de Inmigración y tienen miedo de ir, o si piensan que están enfermos, obviamente es una decisión importante, y tienen que entender que corren riesgo de no presentarse porque un juez puede deportarte en su ausencia. Entonces recomendamos que hables con nosotros a ver qué es lo que podemos hacer, a ver si hay manera de continuar su audiencia, pero tienes que estar en contacto con nosotros, o si no, pienso yo que deberías de presentarse, porque si no te presentas hay gran chance de que te van a deportar, y si este es el caso también podamos intentar de reabrir el caso, pero para evitar estar en ese punto deberían de llamar a nosotros antes. Y también lo mismo con USCIS, si tienen entrevistas de matrimonio, de familia, una entrevista de asilo, algo así, no deberían de asumir que lo van a cambiar, porque en este momento todo está abierto. Lo mismo con ICE, si tienen que reportar, todavía están abiertos, entonces deberían de planear de presentarse, o si no, llamen a nosotros para nosotros darte consejo en cómo seguir, a ver si hay manera de cambiar esa fecha y evitar ir en persona. Pero como le dije, Jorge Gavilanes también hizo esta entrevista en español con Univision, y yo voy a poner ese link en este video esta tarde.
All right, thank you guys.
Stay safe.
Any final words?
And,
Wash your hands.
yeah.
All right, guys,
Okay.
stay safe, stay healthy, and tune in next week for Facebook Live. If you have any questions, post them, and we will respond in the comments below. And as always, thank you for tuning in.